What's up guys, Jivin back with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 high ground retakes that are super useful for getting your opponent's piece controlled, and one of the best ways to improve is learning new high ground retakes, so this video should help you out. Before we get into the video, please consider using code JivinTV in the Fortnite item shop, or at least make sure you're using somebody's code because it helps us out a ton. Now let's get into this video. So this clip you're seeing on your screen right now is a tutorial I made back in the day about low ground piece control. I'll link that in the description for those of you that want to see it, but the first retake we're talking about is another version of low ground piece control. So if you're boxed up here and your opponent is like 2 or 3 layers above you, if you do this move here, it'll get you to their level and give you a really good opportunity to piece control them. This first retake is really advanced. Some of the other ones we're looking at are going to be a little easier, but let's break this down. So the way I get high ground retakes down myself is just by watching them back over and over again in slow motion and trying to break it down one step at a time in creative mode. So you start this one out by doing a double ramp, a ramp above and below you, and then you place cones on top of your ramps. After that, you flip this ramp above you and land on top of it, and then this is the most important part, you swing walls all around you here. This will give you an opportunity to piece control the opponent if they're one layer above you. So that's the idea of the first one. Let's look at some in-game examples and then we'll move on to the next retake. But again, I recommend just practicing it in creative over and over again until you can get it down. So usually when I do this retake, I analyze where the opponent is before actually going through and doing this retake. I see he's 2 layers above me in this situation, so it was a perfect time to do it. As you can see, this player isn't right against this wall. The nice thing about this retake is it gets you right on their layer if they're 2 layers above you, and then you can just edit course to them or take high ground, whatever you want to do in the situation. Here's another example of where I did it successfully. One thing I've noticed about practicing these retakes in game is that it really helps to elevate your skill to the next level. I tried doing each of these retakes one by one. I would just go on the battle bus, try to think, okay, I want to try to do this retake one time this game. And you know, while I died a lot while trying to do this, it's a really good learning experience and it helps to elevate your skill to the next level because then you know when to do these moves and what situations they actually work in. This last clip, I did it so perfectly. I just missed that one crucial wall. Boy, let's go on to another retake. I know that last retake was kind of hard, so we're going to go on to one of the easiest ones next. There's lots of different versions of protected 90s, but this one works really well for if someone's a few layers above you. These are just regular 90s, except you swing the back walls in first. That way they can't spray you from behind. Usually when 90ing up, you're exposed from the back, but with these 90s, you block off your back and you're more protected while getting up to their layer fast. So you'll see in this clip, the player was 2 layers above me and a few layers behind me, and so when I do these 90s, the player was literally spraying at me and he didn't hit me once. He just shot my walls instead. Once you get to their layer, you can just edit course to them and get a nice shot. This player actually ended up just falling to their death, so rip to you. But here it is in slow motion so you can see it better. You can see I swing this wall back so early on before even exposing myself so they never even have an angle to shoot me. That's the way you want to do it. The sooner you can place those walls, the more protected you'll be. No cap, the next 3 retakes are probably my favorites in the game. Let's start off with what I call the spinning high walls. This retake may look difficult, but it's actually pretty easy once you get the hang of it. So first things first, you gotta get the double ramps going with the cones on top, just like in the first retake. Then you do a full 180 and place these back 2 walls, and then a ramp against this wall. After that is the most important part, you swing these high walls into place with a cone on top. This protects your entire backside where the enemy should be when you're doing this retake. So at this point in the retake, you can go any direction. You can edit through either of the walls or go out the side like this. To do this, you just place a ramp, a floor, and then another ramp. Then you can edit through the floor and go straight, or you can do what I do here. You place a wall in front of you and then a cone on top, or you can do another 180 and it's just like we did before. You swing the high walls into place. From there on, you can just keep doing this until you have high ground or until you see an opportunity to piece control the opponent. So let's check out an in-game example of this move. So this retake starts out just like all the others, where the enemy is above me. My goals are either to get above them or get to their level and piece control them like I do here. Notice how when I swing the walls and the cone above me, I block their point of view. That's why this retake is so good. It blocks their point of view and claims a lot of builds while doing that. By claiming builds on their level, it gives you an opportunity to piece control them and win the fight. Next retake we're going to be taking a look at is what I call infinite high walls. If you don't know what high walls are, it's when I side jump here, I swing those walls way up above me. It's one of the most important piece control moves in the game, and I use them all the time, every single arena game. Anytime I do a side jump, I swing high walls into place. So this is the first way you can do infinite high walls, where you edit through the wall and then edit out the side and do another one. But here's another way to do it. I do this retake all the time when I'm trying to get up to the opponent's level and look for piece control opportunities on the way. So as you can see, when I do this side jump here, I swing the high walls into position, but I don't edit up through the high wall. I go for another high wall side jump. Basically, I just do this when I'm trying to get up to the opponent's lair, and then once I'm actually at their lair, I do a normal high wall side jump and edit through the high wall. That's the wall I'm talking about there. Here's an in-game example so you can better understand it. I know this is a little bit of a confusing one. So as you can see, I'm just doing the infinite high walls where I just keep on going until I know I'm on his lair, and that's when I actually do a normal high wall and strike. I'm gonna slow this down so that you can see it in more detail, and I'll do some pauses to help you out and everything. So right here, I know he's behind me and above me like 2 or 3 layers, so I'm just doing side jumps trying to get up to his lair, but the reason I put the high walls in is to protect my angles and throw him off. And now on this last side jump, I know that I'm near his lair, and so I go for a regular high wall that I actually edit through and go at the opponent trying to get them piece controlled, which I do get a cone over top of him and a wall in front of him, and then I go for a quick shot from above. You can see this retake kind of gets you to their level and then gives you an opportunity to piece control them once you get up there. So yeah, I do a lot of that move. I'm going to have more examples where I do combos of all these moves at the end. So now let's get into the last retake. I put this in a tutorial so long ago and I still use it today. So here's the idea of it. Let's say somebody's way above you and behind you. By placing this ramp and cone, you block their angle, and then you can go so many different directions after this. You can 90 up the back. If they're right up here, you can go up a layer and box them. Here it is in slow motion for you. You flick that last wall into place and then you can edit through and piece them up. If you're trying to get high ground, this is the best way to do this retake. Instant high ground every time. The thing to note about this variant is when you do the side jump around this cone, you need to make sure you land on the back left edge of it, because that puts you in a perfect position to 90 up afterwards. And that's how you get up like 4 layers really fast. You can go literally any direction with this retake, which is what makes it insane. Let's check out some in-game examples. You'll see in this example that anytime you're double ramping up and someone's behind you, just placing this ramp cone can really mess them up. I got him perfectly boxed here because of it. When I swing this last wall into position and see him running into that box, I just get him full boxed, set up a right hand peek, boom. I could have had him finish there, but messed up my piece control at the end. Here's just an example of me getting high ground with this retake. I blocked him off by dragging that last cone into his face, but yeah, I got high ground, that was that. And then this last clip is just so upsetting. I got him perfectly pieced up with this retake, but I missed my shots. But this was honestly beautiful. One of the biggest things I like about most of these retakes is that there's a slow part in the retakes. By having a little slow part in the retake, you can read where the opponent is. For example, when I place the ramp cone in this retake, it kind of gives me a second to analyze where exactly is the opponent, so then I can go and piece control them. So I got 2 more clips to break down for you guys. In these 2 clips, I kind of did combos of the retakes. So in this first one, I did the protected 90, but I also placed a cone on top of me, which is another addition that can be added that's helpful. After that, you can see I kind of go into one of the infinite high walls I was talking about earlier. And with that high wall, I was able to get the opponent pieced up and finish that fight perfectly. That was nasty, dude. In this last clip, I do a combination of the first retake, the low ground piece control, and the infinite high wall that I was talking about earlier. The high wall comes in clutch in almost any retake. Anytime you're doing a side jump, just whip a high wall up there. So like I said at the start of this video, some of these retakes are easier than others. Just pick one, try to practice it a lot in creative until you can get it every time. Hop into arena and say at the start of the game, I want to try doing that retake at least once. You may struggle with it at first, you may die in arena because of it, but it's all for improvement. If you want, you could even just practice them in 1v1s in creative. It just helps you get a better understanding of building and improve overall. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, use code JivinTV in the item shop, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.